I believe 99% of people in this world will never hear such a selfish, hypocritical, and utterly unreasonable request. She wanted freedom and liberation from marital restraints, yet insisted on clinging to all the benefits marriage brought her, demanding her ex-husband become her lifelong, unconditional provider. Today, I'm laying out every single detail of these 7 years, how our love blossomed and soured, how our marriage fell into constant conflict and Cold War, and the full story behind her shocking request. I'll share the private details I've never told anyone, my late-night breakdowns, every heated argument between us, and how I finally let go and cut my losses completely. Let me start from the very beginning. No tragedy or absurd ending happens out of nowhere. Every disaster was foreshadowed from the start. I'm 34 years old, born and raised in an ordinary urban family. My parents are hard-working office workers who've lived simple, honest lives. They never had wealth or powerful connections, and they only taught me one lesson: be down to earth, work hard, and build everything with your own hands. From a young age, I knew I had no one to rely on. My life, my future, and my quality of life depended entirely on my own efforts. Unlike most of my peers who partied, played games, and wasted their college years on casual dating, I spent all my time in the library, earning professional certifications, working part-time jobs, and accumulating social experience. I matured far earlier than others, fully aware that for a kid from an ordinary family, success and a stable life in a big city require 10 times, even 100 times more effort. After graduation, I turned down a stable but low-paying government job arranged by my family and chose to start my own business in the physical industry. Those were the hardest, most exhausting, and most unforgettable years of my life. I remember countless nights at 3 a.m., when the entire city was asleep, only my office lights were on. I worked alone to communicate with clients, organize plans, review data, and handle emergencies. I survived on instant noodles and bottled water, napping briefly at my desk before forcing myself to keep going. To secure business deals, I walked countless streets under 40-degree summer heat, wearing out multiple pairs of shoes. In freezing winter winds, I waited for hours outside clients' offices just for a single opportunity. I endured cold stares, doubts, and unreasonable demands from clients, survived near bankruptcy in my early entrepreneurial days, and pushed through the darkest, loneliest moments with no support from anyone. For a full decade, I had no entertainment, no holidays, and no proper rest. While others traveled, partied, and spent time with family, I was always working and striving for a better future. I dared not slack off or give up, because I had no one behind me. I knew one wrong step would push me back to square one. All my hard work eventually paid off. By my early 30s, my business was fully stable with steady clients, growing income, and a solid industry reputation. I no longer suffered from financial anxiety. I bought a spacious apartment and a family car outright in a first-tier city, with no mortgages or loans. My savings were more than enough to provide a stable, comfortable life for my family. I'm not a millionaire or ultra-wealthy, but I completely escaped poverty through my own hard work, building a decent, secure life for myself. Finally free from the stress of making ends meet, I gained the ability and confidence to give my future partner and family the best life and sense of security possible. It was right when my career stabilized that I met my ex-wife, the woman who would completely shatter my view of marriage and human nature. She was 4 years younger than me, 26 when we met. She had a quiet, gentle personality and a pure, unworldly vibe, nothing like the impetuous, materialistic women I'd met in business circles. After a decade of cutthroat entrepreneurship and endless human deception, I was worn out and desperate for a pure, unselfish relationship and a warm, peaceful home. I was tired of intrigue and calculation. All I wanted was a gentle, sensible girl to love, marry, and build a simple life with. And she seemed to fit every single one of my expectations perfectly. On our first date, she didn't order expensive fine dining, ask for luxury gifts, or probe into my savings and assets. She simply chatted with me calmly about life, hobbies, and trivial daily things, with soft words and clear eyes. She even offered to split the bill, refusing to take advantage of me. That was the moment I fell for her. Throughout our relationship, she never took the initiative to ask for anything, never compared her life to her wealthy friends, never complained about plane days, and never blamed me for being too busy to accompany her. When I was swamped with work, she never bombarded me with calls or threw tantrums. She would only say softly, "Focus on your work, take care of yourself, I'll wait for you." When I felt frustrated or stressed by work setbacks, she never called me incompetent or complained about my income. She comforted and encouraged me patiently, telling me to take it slow and that she always believed in me. Back then, she was like a soft beam of light, illuminating my tense, exhausted life. All the fatigue from years of relentless striving was soothed by her gentleness. We had almost no arguments, conflicts, or value disagreements during our one-year relationship. I worked hard to bear all life's pressures, while she accompanied me tenderly and took care of trivial daily matters. Our love was plain, warm, pure and down-to-earth, no dramatic drama, only steady, peaceful happiness. I was absolutely convinced that she was the one I wanted to spend my life with. Unmaterialistic, sensible, considerate, and kind, marrying her felt like the best decision I'd ever made. On our one-year anniversary, I prepared a sincere, low-key proposal. She cried happy tears and said yes without hesitation. We got married soon after and built our own little family. The first 3 years of our marriage were the warmest, most comforting, and most rewarding years of my life. Even now, after our separation, I can honestly say she was truly gentle and sincere to me back then. Having endured so much hardship myself, I deeply cherished her and felt sorry for her. She married me when I was still building my career, never enjoying the benefits of my early success. I made up my mind to give her the best life possible and compensate her for every bit of hardship she'd endured with me. From the day we got married, I set a strict rule for myself: I would never let my wife worry about money, never let her suffer any grievance, and never let her endure hardship. I would bear every pressure, burden, and expense of our family alone. And I kept that promise faithfully for 7 whole years. I covered all family expenses in full: mortgage, car loan, property fees, utility bills, groceries, and daily necessities. I never made her spend a single cent on household costs. Her entire salary, no matter how big or small, was her personal pocket money. I never asked, interfered, or complained about how she spent it. I always told her, it doesn't matter if you work or not, earn money or not. I can support this family and support you. You don't need to struggle or worry about finances. Just be happy, love yourself, and enjoy life. I never missed a single romantic milestone, always putting in thought and effort. Birthdays, relationship anniversaries, wedding anniversaries, Valentine's Day, Shishi Festival, New Year's Eve, I always prepared flowers, cakes, red envelopes, gifts, and sincere surprises in advance, without fail. If she casually mentioned liking a designer bag, skincare product, or piece of clothing, even if she forgot the words immediately, I jotted down and buy it for her as a surprise. If she saw a travel vlog and said she wanted to visit a place, I'd immediately plan the trip, book flights and hotels, and take her on vacation. I took charge of almost all household chores. When I was free from work, I cooked, washed dishes, mopped floors, and did laundry, never willing to let her tire herself out. I always believed women deserved to be cherished and protected, not trapped in endless trivial housework. I had no bad habits, no smoking, drinking, gambling, clubbing, or ambiguous relationships. My social circle was clean and simple. Aside from my career, all my time, energy, and attention belonged to my family and her. All my friends and relatives knew I was a devoted, reliable husband. My buddies joked that I'd spoiled my wife rotten, while her parents praised me endlessly to everyone, saying I was steady, responsible, and perfect for their daughter. And for those first 3 years, she was completely worthy of all my devotion and dedication. She kept our small home spotless, warm, and cozy. No matter how late or tired I came home from work, a warm light waited at the door, along with hot meals and soup on the kitchen counter. When I was stressed and exhausted from overtime work, she stayed by my side quietly, comforting me and hugging me, telling me not to overwork myself and that health mattered more than money. When I caught a cold or fever, she took meticulous care of me, checking my temperature, making ginger soup, feeding me medicine, and staying up all night by my bedside, full of worry. In our spare time, we shopped for groceries together, cooked together, watched dramas, took walks, and chatted about trivial daily things. Our life was simple but warm and happy. Those 3 years were the most stable and fulfilling time of my life. I often felt incredibly lucky to have such a gentle, sensible wife and such a warm family. I naively thought this peaceful life would last forever, that we'd grow old together, that sincerity would always be reciprocated with cherishment. But I never knew, human nature cannot stand temptation. Comfort breeds greed. Unconditional indulgence only spoils people and inflates their endless desires. All our beautiful memories began to crumble and fade starting from the 4th year of our marriage. In our 4th year of marriage, my business expanded further with a massive income upgrade. We traded our small apartment for a spacious, high-end 3-bedroom apartment in the city center and replaced our old car. Our quality of life improved dramatically with zero financial pressure at all. It was precisely when our life became completely wealthy and stress-free that my wife's mentality began to change quietly and drastically. This was not an overnight shift, but a gradual distortion over time. By the time I fully noticed, her values and personality had been completely altered. The changes started small and insignificant. She gradually became extremely lazy. The woman who once took initiative to clean, cook, and tidy up every day stopped caring entirely. Our home piled up with clutter and dust, dirty clothes left unwashed, yet she turned a blind eye. She no longer cooked elaborate meals, relying solely on takeout or skipping meals, spending all day lying on the sofa scrolling short videos. I never blamed her at first. I told myself she'd worked hard to manage the family in our tougher days, and she deserved to relax and enjoy life now that we were well off. So I took on even more housework, cleaning and cooking even after exhausting workdays, just to let her live more easily. But my tolerance, understanding, and selfless dedication never made her grateful or cherish what she had. Instead, she took all my efforts for granted, growing lazier, greedier, and more insatiable day by day. She became obsessed with short videos and the extravagant lifestyles of internet influencers. She watched countless videos of people living carefree, luxurious lives, no work, no chores, endless shopping and travel, fully spoiled and supported by others, and slowly developed a severe mental imbalance. She began to complain that our plain, stable life was boring, monotonous, and unexciting. She grew tired of daily chores and peaceful routines, envying the flashy, unrestrained luxury lives online. I still clearly remember the first time she complained to me. We were taking an evening walk after dinner when she said sullenly, "My life is so meaningless. Every day I just stay home and wait for you to come back, living a predictable, boring life. Other girls in their 20s live bright, free lives, but I'm stuck at home like a maid." I comforted her patiently. Stability is the greatest blessing. Having no hardship, no financial stress, and a peaceful life is what countless people crave. Plain days last the longest. Peace and health are the best happiness. But my sincere words sounded mediocre, boring, and restrictive to her. She refused to listen, and her inner comparison and dissatisfaction took deep root. From then on, she constantly negated all my efforts, picking faults and complaining nonstop, never satisfied with anything. Once, when I stayed up late working hard, she felt sorry for my tiredness. Later, she coldly said, "Making money is your responsibility. You're supposed to work hard. If you can't even handle this tiredness, what can you accomplish?" Once, she cherished every moment I spared to accompany her and repaid me with double tenderness. Later, she complained that my company was too plain, that I didn't understand trendy romance, and that my life was not exciting enough. She started picking fights constantly, never because I did anything wrong, but purely out of her own insatiable desires and unbalanced mentality. She craved more money, more freedom, and more indulgence, wanting a luxurious life without shouldering any marital responsibilities. Even after I gave her the best of everything, she still felt unsatisfied, wronged, and cheated, claiming I'd wasted her youth. The 5th and 6th years of our marriage were the most torturous, draining, and conflicting 2 years of our relationship. During this time, I experienced endless disappointment, breakdowns, and self-doubt, gradually draining all my love and patience. Her personality turned completely selfish and double-standard. She held me to extremely strict standards while indulging herself without any boundaries. She demanded absolute loyalty and zero opposite-sex interaction from me. She required me to work non-stop to raise my income constantly. She insisted I tolerate all her bad tempers and apologize first no matter who was wrong. She demanded my instant company and full satisfaction of her material and emotional needs at all times. Whenever I failed to meet her overbearing standards, she gave me the cold shoulder, lost her temper, blocked my contact, and refused to communicate for days, accusing me of not loving or treasuring her. Yet she took no responsibility as a wife whatsoever. She never did housework, tidied the home, or cared about my work and health. She never understood my pressure and exhaustion. Every day, I endured massive mental stress handling countless client and work problems, only to come home to no comfort, no hot meals, nothing but her cold attitude, complaints, and unreasonable tantrums. Her daily routine was waking up naturally, lying in bed scrolling social media and chatting with friends, going shopping and drinking afternoon tea in the afternoon, staying up late to binge watch shows at night, living a completely free, effortless, and luxurious life with zero worries. I tried countless late-night heart-to-heart talks to fix her mentality, begging her sincerely, "Let's live well together. I work hard to support our family just to give you a good life. Let's support each other and make our days better." But she always responded perfunctorily, even bluntly telling me, "I don't want a plain life. I don't want to be trapped in a family. I'm still young, I want freedom, I want to live for myself, and I don't want to be tied down by marriage." I still remember one late-night argument where she said the most heartbreaking and eye-opening words I've ever heard, words that stayed with me for 2 years and completely revealed her true nature. I was stuck in a work bottleneck, overwhelmed by stress, and opened up to her about my exhaustion, hoping for a little comfort. Instead, she replied coldly, "Don't tell me about your stress, I don't care. You chose to work hard, make money, and start this family on your own, not for me. If I hadn't married you, I'd be free and spoiled by many people, living 100 times better life. You're the one who trapped me and wasted my youth." My blood ran cold and my heart ached sharply. All my efforts to shelter her from wind and rain had become chains restricting her in her eyes. All my hard work and dedication were worthless to her. I compromised, tolerated, and comforted her repeatedly, telling myself she was just young and impetuous, misled by online trends, and would eventually grow up and learn to cherish me. Looking back now, I was naive, soft-hearted, and too devoted. My tolerance never won her repentance or gratitude, it only made her more unscrupulous and entitled to my efforts. She began openly envying women who were financially supported by others without working or taking responsibility. She even discussed it with me directly, "Look how smart those girls are. No marriage, no chores, no compromise. They just get spoiled and supported by rich men, buying whatever they want and traveling wherever they please. That's the real life a woman should have." I felt a chill in my heart, realizing her values were completely distorted. Greed had devoured her once gentle and pure self. She no longer cherished our family, our relationship, or my dedication. Yet I still clung to our 7-year relationship and the family I'd built with all my heart. Holding on to a glimmer of hope, I stubbornly persisted in this one-sided, broken marriage. By our 7th year of marriage, our relationship fell into a lifeless Cold War. No more arguments, no communication, no interaction, only endless indifference and alienation. She completely refused to talk or spend time with me. We lived under the same roof and slept in the same bed, yet we were total strangers, living separate lives with zero connection. She never greeted me or asked about my tiredness after work. Whenever I tried to reconcile and talk to her, she either replied perfunctorily, ignored me entirely, or locked herself in her room. The once warm and cozy home turned cold and suffocating. I felt no warmth or joy here, only endless emotional consumption. I was completely worn out and disappointed with our marriage. Only my 7-year devotion and reluctant heart stopped me from filing for divorce, leaving me hesitating and clinging to faint hope. But she was far more decisive, ruthless, and heartless than me. She'd planned everything long in advance, prepared her escape route, and even drafted divorce papers, just waiting for the perfect moment to end our marriage and put forward her absurd demand. It was a cool, early winter evening. Warm golden sunset light streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows and covered the wooden floor, a gentle, peaceful scene that turned into the most unforgettable and shocking memory of my life. I finished a full week of high-intensity work early and headed home. My only thought was to rest well and have a sincere talk with her to end our Cold War, hoping for a peaceful closure even if we couldn't stay together. When I pushed open the door, the living room was quiet and dim under the sunset glow. She sat calmly in the middle of the sofa, wearing delicate loungewear with neat makeup and tidy hair. She looked peaceful and calm, no longer cold or irritable as usual. Seeing her gentle demeanor, a tiny spark of hope flashed through my mind. Maybe she'd finally woken up, maybe she wanted to fix our relationship, maybe there was still a chance for us. I changed my shoes and put down my bag, ready to speak, when she gestured for me to sit down and said calmly, "Sit first, I have something to tell you." I sat opposite her, confused, and watched her take out a neatly bound stack of A4 documents from the coffee table drawer and slide it gently toward me. The 4 bold black words on the top of the paper stabbed my eyes sharply: divorce agreement. In that instant, my brain went blank, my blood turned cold, my body stiffened, and I stopped breathing for a second. I sat frozen in place, unable to react for a long time. I'd imagined countless endings for our marriage: arguments, conflicts, Cold War, separation, but I never imagined she would take the initiative to end our 7-year marriage so calmly and decisively without a single trace of emotion. I stared at her in shock, my voice hoarse and trembling. "What does this mean? You want a divorce? Why? What's wrong with us?" Her face was completely emotionless, no sadness, no reluctance, no guilt. She spoke flatly, as if discussing a trivial matter. "I've thought about this for a long time, not on impulse. This marriage makes me unhappy, unfree, and constrained. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get divorced. My throat tightened and my heart ached violently. I asked bitterly, 7 years. How have I wronged you? Have I ever let you suffer or lack anything? I've given you my all, spoiled you, and given you the most secure life. Why are you doing this to me? She looked at me without a shred of shame and laid out the cruel truth. I admit you're a good man, responsible, and you've given me a good life. But your goodness and this good life aren't what I want. I don't want marriage or family restraints. I'm still young, I want freedom, I want to live for myself. It's not that you're bad, it's that marriage isn't for me. At that moment, all my 7 years of devotion, love, sacrifice, and tolerance turned into a complete joke. The home I built with all my heart and the love I cherished were nothing but chains restricting her freedom. I stayed silent for a long time, forcing down my heartbreak, grievance, and anger to calm my emotions. Since she'd made up her mind completely, there was no point in begging or clinging. I took a deep breath and said peacefully, if you've decided, I won't pester you. I'll let you go. Let's end this peacefully. Tell me your terms for property division. I was fully prepared for her to demand large compensation, split our house and car, or put forward harsh conditions. I was ready to lose money for a decent ending to our 7-year relationship. But I never expected her request to subvert all my values and leave me utterly stunned. She looked at me with a natural, almost coquettish tone. I won't ask for extra property, I'll split everything legally and fairly. I'm not greedy for your things. But I have one non-negotiable condition. I waited for her answer. She spoke clearly and shamelessly, uttering the most absurd sentence I'd ever heard. After the divorce, I won't be your wife anymore. I won't have to take care of the family, take responsibility, or obey you. But you have to keep supporting me and spending money on me just like before. After we divorce, you'll be my sugar daddy. I thought I'd misheard her. I stared at her in disbelief. What did you say? Say that again. Without the slightest embarrassment, shame, or guilt, she repeated her absurd logic more clearly and confidently, as if her request was perfectly reasonable. I mean, we'll divorce and terminate our marital relationship. From then on, I don't have to fulfill any wifely duties, no housework, no taking care of you, no compromise, no marital restraints. I'll be completely free to live however I want. But you have to stay exactly the same. You have to keep paying my living expenses, covering all my shopping, travel, and daily costs. You still have to buy me whatever I want and send me money whenever I need it. Simply put, I discard all marital responsibilities and obligations, but keep all marital benefits and privileges. I won't be your wife anymore, but you have to be my exclusive sugar daddy, spoiling and supporting me unconditionally. You don't get to own me or control me. You just have to keep supporting me for the rest of my life. Can you imagine how I felt in that moment? I was overwhelmed by a mix of anger, absurdity, heartbreak, disappointment, self-ridicule, and sudden clarity. In my 34 years of life, I've seen all kinds of strange people and selfish human nature, but never have I witnessed such blatant, extreme egoism. She wanted absolute freedom, breaking free from all marital chains and family responsibilities, no compromise, no dedication, no restraint, living freely and recklessly for a lifetime. Yet she demanded absolute benefits, retaining my years of unconditional pampering and financial support, continuing to enjoy the stable wealth and security I'd built, living a luxurious, worry-free life without paying any price. Her logic was simple and ugly. She abandoned tiring marital duties but clung tightly to comfortable marital benefits. She wanted to kick off the restrictive marriage yet hold on to me as her lifelong meal ticket and exclusive provider to pay for her free and indulgent life. In that moment, the woman I'd loved, cherished, and spoiled for 7 years felt utterly strange, terrifying, and ironic to me. I finally realized I'd never truly known her. I thought I'd married a grateful, sensible partner with mutual affection. I thought sincerity would win lasting companionship. But the truth was, I'd married an insatiable greed trap. She never loved me or cherished me, she only loved my value, my dedication, my security, and my money. I suppressed my surging emotions and kept my tone calm, determined to hear her full selfish logic and see her true nature clearly. I looked her in the eyes and asked coldly, "What gives you the right? After divorce, we'll be strangers. Why should I keep supporting you unconditionally and be your sugar daddy?" She answered with total ease and no guilt, "Because you treat me the best." No one else in this world will spoil and support me as selflessly and reliably as you. Others only care about temporary novelty, but you'll take care of me forever. If I leave you, I'll never live such a comfortable, decent, and carefree life again. So I can divorce you, but I can't lose your support. I couldn't help but sneer. So you want freedom and unrestrained life, refusing to take any responsibility for me or our family, yet you want me to keep working hard to support you for free, letting you squander my money and live freely at my expense? She nodded without hesitation, thinking her idea was perfect and mutually beneficial, and began to persuade and brainwash me. Yes, this is the best outcome for both of us. For you, you have to work and spend money anyway. In marriage, you were trapped by trivial family matters and constant arguments. After divorce, we're no longer husband and wife, no more restrictions, suspicion, or conflicts. You can focus on your career without emotional drain. You don't need to manage my social life or emotions. You just need to pay my fixed monthly living expenses. You can keep your stable career and peaceful life. For me, I get rid of marital restraints and gain absolute freedom, while still having your stable financial support. I have both freedom and security, no need to work hard or worry about life. Simply put, you don't need to possess me, but you still need to support me. We don't interfere with each other and get what we want. It's a win-win situation. She spoke more and more seriously, utterly convinced I would compromise and agree. In her mind, my 7 years of indulgence meant I would spoil her selfishness unconditionally forever, just because of past affection. She continued to pester and persuade me softly. You used to hate seeing me suffer. You definitely don't want me to live a poor and tough life after divorce, right? Just keep being my sugar daddy and support me forever. I won't pester or disturb you. We can keep this relaxed relationship forever. After hearing all her fallacious, selfish logic and absurd demands, the last trace of affection, reluctance, and nostalgia in my heart vanished completely. I was fully awake, relieved, and liberated. I looked straight at her, my tone calm yet firm, every word powerful and unyielding. You're dreaming. I can grant you your freedom, agree to the divorce, let you go, and let myself go. I can accept 7 years of sincere devotion in vain and let this marriage end completely. But I will never be your sugar daddy. I will never support your laziness, selfishness, greed, and extravagance for free after we have no connection. I spoiled you, supported you, and tolerated you not because I was foolish or obligated, but because you were my wife, my beloved partner, and my family. It was based on our mutual affection and lifelong commitment. All my tenderness, tolerance, dedication, and protection belong only to my lover, my family, and my marriage. My sincerity has value, my dedication has boundaries, and my kindness has sharp edges. I will never waste them on a selfish stranger who only takes and never gives. I'll set you free. From now on, you can fly freely without any restraint. If you want a luxurious and free life, work for it and pay for your own desires. You can't abandon marital responsibilities while monopolizing marital benefits. You can't get rid of wifely obligations while enjoying the privilege of being spoiled. You can't leave me freely while making me pay for your life forever. My money, time, energy, and sincerity are precious. I will never waste a single bit on an ungrateful, extremely selfish person like you again. After my decisive rejection, her gentle, sensible, and calm mask shattered instantly. She panicked, lost her temper, and looked utterly shocked and resentful. She never expected the man who'd always spoiled and yielded to her to refuse her absolutely without any room for compromise. She raised her voice suddenly, crying and blaming me with distorted moral kidnapping. Don't you love me anymore? Did you never truly love me? You agreed to all my requests before, but you refused this tiny one? You're so cruel, ruthless, and ungrateful for our past. I only felt extremely ridiculous at her twisted values and reversed right and wrong. I replied coldly, it's not that I stopped loving you, it's that you're no longer worthy. My love is precious. It's only for sensible, grateful, cherishing people who give mutual dedication and feedback. It's never for the greedy, selfish people who only take without giving, who consume me while looking down on me. If you want a free and indulgent life, take responsibility for yourself and pay for your own desires. Don't use my 7 years of dedication and my remaining affection as a stepping stone for your selfish freedom. Thoroughly rejected, she completely dropped all pretense, crying, complaining, and giving me the cold shoulder to force me to compromise. She kept counting her so-called youth loss, accusing me of wasting her best years, calling me stingy and ruthless, and blaming me for being unwilling to spend money on her. Her logic was absurd. Because I earn more easily and have spare money, I must support her unconditionally for life, even if we divorce and she has no love for me. She even said something more ridiculous: you spend money on socializing and daily expenses anyway. It's better to spend it on me. I've accompanied you and taken care of you for 7 years, I know you better than anyone. It's only right for you to support me. I was completely speechless and too tired to argue further. I finally saw through her essence. She was not temporarily confused or misled by online trends. She was inherently selfish, egoistic, and vain. To her, marriage was never a mutually supportive harbor, but a low-cost, high-benefit safe haven and permanent meal ticket. When she needed stability, she stayed in the marriage to enjoy my dedication and protection. When she wanted freedom, she abandoned marriage and responsibilities while still occupying my value. My identity as a husband was nothing more than a free full-time provider to her. With marriage constraints, she played the role of a wife to gain support. After breaking free from marriage, she wanted to abandon her identity while retaining benefits, turning her lifelong partner into an unaccountable, on-demand sugar daddy. This was her carefully calculated plan for years, the ugliest, most ironic, and most absurd ending of my 7-year marriage. After the argument, I picked up the pen without hesitation or softness and signed the divorce papers. I divided our property completely fairly and transparently, never taking a penny from her or deducting her legitimate rights and interests. I maintained the last bit of decency for our relationship and settled everything justly, only refusing her absurd sugar daddy request. The moment I signed my name, I felt no regret, no reluctance, no nostalgia, only thorough relief. I was finally free from this one-sided, draining marriage and able to save myself. During the divorce procedures, she still refused to give up, pestering and begging me repeatedly to continue supporting her as her sugar daddy. She switched between soft selling and moral kidnapping, acting pitiful and helpless about her uncertain future, accusing me of being ruthless to our 7-year relationship, and promising never to disturb my life if I kept supporting her. No matter what tactics she used, I remained firm and unshaken. The second our divorce was legally finalized, I blocked and deleted all her contact information, WeChat, phone number, social media accounts, completely cutting off all ties and possibilities between us. I ignored all her subsequent attempts to contact me through new accounts, friends, or even door-to-door visits, refusing every chance of reconciliation. No matter how deep my past love and devotion were, I never looked back. I know very well, to be soft-hearted to selfish people is to be cruel to yourself. To compromise with ungrateful people is to ruin your own life. It's been a long time since our divorce. I've completely walked out of this bad marriage, rid myself of emotional drain and torture, and returned to a stable, pure, and relaxed life. Looking back on these 7 years, I have endless insights and thorough clarity. I used to firmly believe that marriage is mutual sincerity and reciprocity, that dedication wins gratitude, and tolerance wins companionship. I thought enough effort and devotion could maintain a good marriage and cherish a good relationship. This experience taught me the cruel truth: the most terrifying thing in marriage is not poverty, quarrels, violence, or cheating, but one-sided dedication, extreme selfishness, and insatiable greed. Many people suffer endlessly in marriage because of bottomless tolerance and dedication, turning their partner's gratitude into entitlement, their cherishment into greed, and mutual love into one-sided consumption. It's human nature to forget kindness and comfort, to become reckless when spoiled, and to grow insatiable when fully protected. You work hard to shelter someone from wind and rain, yet they not only refuse to be grateful but complain that your protection is not gentle enough, that your stability is not luxurious enough. They want to leave you while continuing to drain your value to pay for their free life. My ex-wife perfectly interpreted the ultimate form of egoism. I reject marital restraints, wifely duties, family trivialities, and mutual dedication, but I cling to marital stability, lifelong protection, unconditional pampering, and unearned material benefits. I want freedom and indulgence to live for myself, yet my freedom and indulgence must be paid for, protected, and funded by you unconditionally. This is the hidden human truth many people refuse to admit. Some people never want love, marriage, or companionship. They only want a stable, reliable, unconditional tool to support their life. Here is my sincere reminder to everyone watching who is in a relationship or marriage. No matter how much you love someone or cherish a relationship, never give endlessly, tolerate blindly, or shield unconditionally. Your sincerity must have boundaries, your kindness must have sharp edges, and your dedication must have reciprocation. Love and marriage are never one-man shows or one-sided burdens. All relationships that only allow enjoyment without dedication are doomed to collapse. All one-sided devotion is meaningless. True love and marriage are mutual understanding and compassion, mutual support and tolerance, mutual cherishment and dedication, fighting life's hardships together and enjoying gentle years side by side. It is never one person bearing all the weight and giving everything, while the other enjoys all the benefits greedily, never one person persisting silently while the other consumes, betrays, and takes endlessly. After hearing this real story, what thoughts do you have? Have you ever encountered someone who takes your kindness for granted, who wants all the benefits without taking any responsibility? Leave your comments below to share your views. If you think this story is thought-provoking, like and share it to wake up more people who are blindly giving in relationships. Subscribe for more real and eye-opening life and marriage stories.